Now, it is time for the movie that sounds like, what you say, SC, slavery?
Is that a slave movie? 'Cause when you hear the sound of freedom, that's the first thing I thought about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Same here too. That's what I thought too.
Until you saw this white dude on the cover, right? He's like, oh, wait a minute. You know?
This ain't what I'm looking for.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Nah, man. The Sound of Freedom. And I'll be absolutely honest with you. I believe this is one of those word of mouth movies because I remember my daughter, she first mentioned it. My mom, she, called and asked me about it. Did I hear about it? Am I going to review it? Da-da-da and all that. And I was like, well, I don't know. Let me look into it. Let me holler at the crew, see what the crew want to do, And fortunately, the crew was like, hey, let's see what it do. And so we all went to go check out The Sound of Freedom, man. And must say that I'm glad that I did. Hey, thanks a lot, daughter. Thanks a lot, mama. You know what I'm saying? And appreciate your crew for agreeing to come and do this review because I felt some kind of way coming out of this movie. It elicited some emotions from me, some emotions that a movie hadn't done in a while. So I'm glad that y'all are here with us. And, I would say just strap on in because we are about to check out The Sound of Freedom trailer right now. Roll that beautiful beating footage, Bree.
How'd that make you feel? Giving a child his freedom. Felt good. You have been at this for 12 years.
My country, 'tis of thee.
Why are you doing it?
Because God's children are not for sale. It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen.
We're Homeland Security. We can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
This job tears you to pieces. And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
And yet somehow you have failed to bring me one real-world lead.
It's over, Tim. Close up and come back home.
So you quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
South of that river is all rebel territory. No one goes in.
What if this was your daughter?
So, she's gone. Hear that? That's the sound of freedom.
Sound of Freedom is one of those films that can legitimately change this world. So we want to ignite a fire in audiences and open their eyes to the dark reality of millions of children that need our help. Let's make this film a historic event and the start, the end of child trafficking. Theaters across this country are already selling out. Pre-order your tickets today and you can send the message that God's children are no longer for sale.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah. That was actually the message that you get at the end of the movie. When you're checking it out and everything like that, as the credits are rolling, he comes up and he says a little bit more than that. I see they chopped a little bit of that up. And definitely I'm glad they had it on there. We let that play because I totally agree with him. Totally agree with him, man. It's definitely a movie that everyone needs to see, and very impactful. And right after the movie was over, he comes up with the speech and the QR code, and I just felt compelled to buy a ticket, man, and contribute to the movie. And yeah, man, don't regret it at all. So, man, even the trailer is like very moving when you watching it. It was funny that they showed the little boy, I guess, running back to the father. I'm surprised that they actually showed that. Like, seemed like they wouldn't show that so soon and kind of let you wait for that in the movie, because you kind of don't know when you're watching it, what's going to happen. So, but anyway, that was the trailer for Sound of Freedom. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Jim Caviezel? I don't know. Not exactly sure. I just know that I have seen him in quite a few different movies. I just don't know the pronunciation of that name. I wish I could get it, but it's all good. It's all good. Now, there are some other movies that this guy's been in, and I'm just going to hit this real quick. Of course, we know the most famous, absolutely most famous movie he's been in is Passion of the Christ. That role right there was like, top tier of all the roles, but he's been in a lot of stuff. I mean, he was the Count of Monte Cristo, what else? Frequency, which was a very good movie. Deja Vu with Denzel Washington and Paula Patton. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Oh, Any Given Sunday? I don't remember him in Any Given Sunday. Huh. Interesting. Okay, now I got to go back and see. But he was in a lot of stuff, man. Great actor. He's definitely an actor who he acts. I'd like to say he acts with his eyes, because there are moments where he doesn't say much, but he's looking and his eyes kind of get a little watery. You know what I'm saying? And all type of stuff. And he's just staring a person down or something like that, and it just looks pretty serious. Very good, very good, very good. Before we get started, though, let me do this a little bit differently. Because I know how I felt going into this. And I didn't look at the synopsis. As we joked about earlier. It sounded like a slavery movie. Just went on in, blinded, I know my mom and daughter suggested it. That was it. And man, let me tell you, I was surprised within the first 5 minutes of what I saw. And I'm like, okay, we this is what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? We really about to do this. Okay, let's go. I'm strapping in. Let's do it. Here we go. Now, I know how I felt, but I'm curious to know how the rest of y'all felt, like going into it. Whether you knew what the movie's about, and like how did you prepare for it? You know what I mean? What did the first couple of minutes feel like to you? What did you think? What did you think when you went in there at CBR? Did you know what it was about already?
No, I didn't know what it was about. I was going in blind. I didn't see any trailers of the movie or anything. I just heard about it, so went in blind. Again, was moved by the movie. Good movie, like I said, when you do come out of there, you don't know how to feel, and it's like I said, it takes you through an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it does. And this first scene that comes up, like, they dive right in. They waste no time. Yeah. And when you kind of, like you said, you didn't know what was going on, but when did it hit you? Like, at what point did it hit you? And you're like, okay, all right. You're like, here we go. Do you remember?
I guess the part that hit me when he went and dropped his kids off over to the lady that was supposed to be casting them or whatever, and I'm like, and then try to stay there with his kids, and they turned them away. I'm like, okay, it's serious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because you kind of knew then, right? You kind of knew this. Oh, there's the setup right there. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Bree, what about you, man? Did you know what it was about already?
Kinda, but I didn't know what to expect. Even though I read it, what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I don't want to know nothing about it.
Right.
I just want to go in and just watch it, so. But watching it it's very triggering, probably for some people. For me, yeah.
Right.
Like I said, I didn't know what to expect, but it's a very touching movie.
Right.
It had me on the edge of my seat, my legs shaking, I have a little anxiety, so my anxiety was through the roof. So my scene that I thought was that it hit me was when he had to watch the child porno, and write notes. That was,
and that's the first first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yes, man. And I just, what he had to watch was, I know that's very hard to see,
Yeah.
I couldn't handle that job because I would want the predator right now. Like, let me take care of you.
Right.
Like, let me,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't want to have no truly ill feelings, but it's sad. That's all I can say. Like, it's hard to really express that type of anger. And that was just sad, man. The whole movie.
And it's funny. I want to stop you right there because, like I was saying a few minutes ago, he acts with his eyes. So they did this real close up at that part that you're talking about where he had, and he even said it, like, I have to sit here and I have to watch everything and write it down. You can't miss anything. And you can see his eyes tearing up. You know what I mean? Like, it was like torture. You know what I mean? And they showed it so close to where you almost saw glimpses of what was going on, but not, right? And this is where I start to credit this director on how he shot it. You know what I mean? Because like you felt like you was right there. Just as you said, you couldn't have done that. Because you watching his reaction, and that's like, it looks so painful. It's like torture, and just as you say, like, man, I would have wanted to do something to him. That scene, they made it look like soon as he finished, and the way he was looking, like he wanted to rip him apart, and he went in that door. I'm like, oh, he about to get him. Especially when he's like, come on outside, and he looked at the camera like, I need to get you away from this camera, come on outside. I'm like, oh, he about to do him on in, he about to pull a bullet in him or something, right? And right, and then the setup that he put on him, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing. He trying to bring more out of him. You know what I mean? He's trying to go a little deeper in it, but he got to play that role. I know that
was hard for him.
Oh my God.
I know that was very hard to try to do that.
Oh, yes. And you
just with a sick mind, like.
Exactly right. He's got to try to relate to this dude. He's got to say things he would never say and never think. To make this guy trust him.
I know. Well, yeah, that is true. Like, that'd have been hard for me to even do.
Right.
So I like how they didn't show certain, like, they didn't go into super detail, like show more than what was being shown.
They just let you imagine.
I probably would have had to walk out.
Yeah.
And that's how I like movies. You don't have to show too much. Even with sex scenes, like, you don't have to know all of that. Just leave it to somebody's imagination. Don't need to go that deep. So, but yeah. I like how he didn't show all that. He did very well.
Exactly. And that's what I felt about this director, because there was moments where, like you said, Bree, he didn't give you too much. He let you kind of use your imagination of what might have happened, And then there was moments where he did. And I'm going to get into that. But before I do that, I want to pass this over to SC, because I'm curious to know the same with him.
Okay.
I got you in CBR's account of that first feeling, and there's a reason why I'm asking this. I'll get to it after we cover SC. But SC, the same for you, man. Did you know what it was going in, and like, what did you feel that first 5-10 minutes? You know what I'm saying? What scene caught you or let you know, like, here, this is what we about to do?
I didn't know what to expect coming in. It was a surprise to me. It had me from the jump, though. It had me from the beginning of the movie to the end. Very interesting. It's a surprising storyline, but I mean, it is what's going on in the real world,
right?
So it definitely caught me off guard, surprised me from the beginning, and I was into it from the beginning, from the first couple of scenes, So, like, before the action or whatever you may call it even kicked off,
right?
The setup,
right?
I was into it from the setup.
That's what's up. Anything in particular in the beginning that kind of like hit you? That's like, oh man.
Everything. I'm just like, oh, this is how y'all doing it. This is how y'all setting this up. Oh, this is crazy.
Like, this is what we doing.
This is going on. Yeah. Oh, because I know it's really going on. So, like,
right,
seeing them try to bring attention to that,
right,
try to bring attention to sex trafficking kids and all that. It was a big thing.
Right.
But had me in from the beginning, locked in.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. I asked all this because I wanted our audience to hear basically that you could go in it with reading the synopsis, looking at the trailers and everything like that, and kind of feel like, okay, I know what I'm getting into, and so forth and so on. Or you could not, like most of us did. I think either way, though, there is a scene in that beginning that will grab you and say, no, you were not prepared for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what we showed you, what you heard, you wasn't prepared for this. Because as Bree pointed out, there's scenes where he left it up to your imagination, and then there's scenes where I feel like he brought you in so close that you're like, oh my God, so this is how this feels? And I say that to say, once the kids are abducted, because we know that's what this movie's about, there's a moment where they're in that shipping container and they got a little bit of light shining through, right? But they're screaming, they're crying. They don't know where they're going. And even as you saw when the man opened the trailer, he held his nose. You know what I'm saying? I mean, where were they going to use the restroom? You know what I'm saying? So they have to use the restroom on themselves, which they probably already doing because they're scared anyway. It was moments like that, man, that I felt like this is what they kind of gloss over with other movies. And he captured that feeling real well and made it seem real scary to imagine how it feels to be a kid and someone takes you from your parents and you're in this shipping container or whatever they have you in, and you have no idea where you're going. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going on. I mean, that has to be terrifying for a child, man. And right there, I was like, I said, this is a good director, man. This is a good director. Like I said, he don't show you too much, and then in the right moments, he shows you exactly what you need to see to make you feel it. Like SC, I was locked in from the moment it started all the way to the end. I was locked in, man. And I can tell you right now, you won't move unless you gotta use the restroom or get you some more popcorn or something like that. Otherwise, you ain't moving. Like Bree said, you at the edge of your seat. You it's tense. I just want our audience to know that it's gonna grab you immediately. It really is. So if you're wondering why we would say, it makes you feel this way and feel that way, it's because it grabs you right in the beginning. A lot of movies nowadays, they rely so much on CGI and lights and you know what I mean, flickering and this and all type of stuff over here to distract from the fact there's no story here. This one did the opposite. It really opened up these characters, introduced you to them, made you like them or hate them, and you was invested. And it was like you could not stop watching this until certain things were resolved. You know what I mean? Like, I can't leave until I find out what happened with this little boy or this little girl. I'm sorry, I can't turn my head away. I need to see what's going on. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm in agreement with all of you that it had me from the beginning to the end. I felt some kind of way. Like you said, Bree, there were moments where, even though you're saying he didn't show too much, it was still a hard watch. It was still hard to watch it. You know what I mean? And he wasn't even showing you graphic stuff. You don't see any kids naked or anything like that, any sexual acts. But the way he insinuates it so well, it's hard, man. Like you almost squirming in your chair, like, please don't do that. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do what I think you're about to do. Oh, man.
Can't imagine the fear. Fear for those kids.
Yeah. And, I'll point out real quick, too, because, like I said, the word of mouth movie and however, you kind of know why. Like, after you get to the end of this, you kind of know why. And he even alludes to that basically in his little speech, basically saying that they've been trying to get this movie out since 2015, and there's been forces trying to prevent that. And once you see the whole movie and you see what they expose, well, then you see why, right, why people was trying to block this movie, No
doubt.
And nothing but God right there.
That's right.
When you watch that movie, you can see he set him out on a mission to complete that. He did it.
Absolutely.
And that's amazing, that he did all that. He's a hero.
Yeah. CBR brought up the fact to me yesterday, like almost at the cost of his family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, what you, yeah. What you say, CBR? Like even afterwards, he he went back for what, another 6 months? Or
Yeah, he went back. He stayed over. I think in the end credits it said he saved at least 160 more kids.
Yeah. I know that in the beginning, and I don't know how they did for y'all's credits, but man, it was like movie after movie. I guess they were just trying to show all the movies they do at that studio, but it was like every movie was like based on a true story. The incredible true story. True story, true story, true story. I was like, man, okay. And then they did the same for this, of course. But man, I got to tell you, the casting wise, whoever casted this movie, man, they was right on point. Because if you saw how he looked like the dude. You know what I'm saying? You know, the girl, the black Hispanic girl, whatever she was, like she looked like the girl that was on that footage, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. So real quick, because I would basically butcher most of these names up here. I know, like I said, Jim Caviezel played the role of Tim Ballard, so he was the Homeland Security agent. Eduardo Verasti. I say that's what I'm saying. Paul, I guess he was the rich guy that was backing him. Mira Sorvino, Catherine Ballard, his wife, Bill Camp, which I really like that dude. You know what I'm saying? He played a real good role. Vampiro, Kurt Fuller, Frost, Geraldo Tarracina. He was the bad guy at the very end. Okay, who had the girl? Yeah. All right. Scott Hayes. And see, it's funny you say that, Bree, because this guy here, Scott Hayes, he was playing the role of Chris, which was his partner in the very beginning. And he even said himself, he was like, hey man, this is too much. You know what I'm saying? I can't keep doing this. I just can't keep doing this. You know, it's just too much. Yeah, Manny Perez Fuego, James Quadracci, Boulder Patrol Captain. Yeah, man, a lot of people, man. And I think the father, Jose Zuniga, he was with Roberto. Man, I tell you what, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of people screaming at the screen. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, how you just gonna leave your kids like that, man? You know, because, you know, as we talked about, like, there's no way that you've been able to come out and tell one of us, you know, you're not allowed it here. Just, you know what I mean? Just come back at 7:00, which it looked like it was already early. You come back at 7:00 on your bus ride to wherever.
All right.
Man.
Not going to happen.
Man.
There are some people that would have did that, though. Even though we like, man, that could never be me. Like, I would never. It's people in the world that's in poor countries that see an opportunity come along and they're like, hey, this could be my big break. It's people in the United States I've seen that fall for stuff like this, you know?
Yeah, I believe it.
So, you know, it's very...
And that's sad. That's very sad that you would go to a poor community or any community just to do something like that. Like, you just worried about making money.
And take advantage of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're taking advantage of their poverty and their situation. Yeah.
Like, go sell yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And make some money.
In some countries, the women are actually they actually doing it. In some countries, they so poor that the women, that's the only job they can get. So,
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. It's and you know, he was skeptical at first. You could see it. You know, that's why I love the acting on here, because even as she was talking to him, you could see it on his face. There was skepticism, but his little girl was so excited. And you could see that he, you know, obviously something happened with the mother. She's not around, right? And you know, they playing on his emotions. You know, she went for the little girl first, because I think one of the first lines she said was, "Hey, you remember me? You were singing in the square or whatever." So she's already approached her once and got the little girl excited, and now she's like, "Oh, you can be a star." And you know, of course, what little girl in some poor country don't want to be a star? And you got this beautiful model-esque looking woman telling you all this, you know. Looking believable. She got pamphlets and websites, and you know what I mean? Like, man.
That's how they come, though.
Yeah.
That's how they come at you.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah, man.
That's like the guy going to Pinocchio trying to sell him a dream, you know?
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know, they want the pure, you know. You know, a child don't know the difference between a lot. So it's like, you're going to go to them first, get them all excited, give them a piece of candy, and they cool, you know?
Right.
But why would you want to manipulate a young mind like that? Like, and most of them people who doing it, they do got kids. They just ain't gonna put their kids in it. It don't make sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, Bree, for the money. You know, they would rather sell their soul and rob a kid of his innocence. Yeah, very sad. So if you are listening, audience, we sound the way we sound because this movie is deep. I mean, truly is deep, and we're all aware that this goes on. I mean, you've been places that you've seen the signs and hey, stop sex trafficking and so forth and so on. You know, whether it was on a bus, whether it was in a hair salon, whether it was anywhere, you know it, right? But you're so wrapped up in your life and you know the blessings that we have over here, and you know all the things that spoil us every day. You're not thinking about that, right? I mean, it's not right there in your face. This movie puts it right in your face, and it makes you think about it. I mean, you have to be inhuman basically to come out of this movie not thinking about that. I think producer Timmy even said that it makes you wonder, even if your kids are grown now, did you do the right thing when they were younger, though? Did you protect them enough? You know what I'm saying? You know, what would have happened had that been you? You know, even with us all saying, oh, we would never. Right. Okay. So then there are other ways to abduct kids, though. You know what I mean? You know, we know that our kids are in school, or we try to let them go over their friend's house to play, or whatever. There are moments that they are vulnerable. What do you feel at that moment, right? So that's why I say, man, the movie opened my eyes to that, to say, wow, you know, let me pay attention more. You know, when we see these Amber Alerts, right? You know, you see them so much, you just kind of like, okay, black sedan kid, I'm probably never going to see. Then you're like, okay, they messed up, and you swipe it. You know, now where you're like, you know what, let me pay attention a little bit more when I'm out and about. Who knows if I see this kid, I might just run across this kid, you know, thinking, oh, that kid is with that person and they belong with that person. That, you know, the same way that kid was in the van with the guy, you know what I mean? He's like, oh yeah, I'm his uncle, and the kid going right along with it. You know, hey, I'm Teddy Bear. You know, he's trained now. He's so afraid of what's going to happen that he's going right along with whatever this man says. Like, let me pay attention more now. You know what I mean? Deep. Yeah, man, I didn't really know what to feel, man. I had so many emotions swirling around as I'm watching this because they're insinuating, you know, sex trafficking and child pornography and this, that, and the other. And you're like, geez, man. And this guy is he's acting this role so well. I mean, you rooting for him the whole time, no matter what. Whatever he's doing, you rooting for him, you know. And these other guys, you just want to grab them and do something to them. You know what I mean? Like, how could you? And this, you know, it's so many emotions, man. That's why I say, without all the razzle dazzle and the tricks of cinematography and whatever, they just gave me a good story with some good characters that I was able to really get close to and feel something for or against and whatever. And that is what a movie is supposed to do. It's supposed to help you escape from your reality or shed light on something, make you feel something when you walk out of there. This movie absolutely did that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's been a while, y'all. I mean, and we've seen some good movies. I mean, we've seen some good movies this year, without a doubt. This, to me, is in my top 5 because it gave me something I hadn't felt in a while with a movie. And I hadn't really felt that, I'm not going to say since, but Man on Fire with Denzel Washington is what this movie reminds me of. And I needed to see him win. I needed to see him retrieve that girl and her get back home to her parents and whatever. And this movie mimics that feeling to me. I'm a little conflicted on the marketing of the movie. You know, I even spoke to my mom about this. I'm conflicted on the marketing of the movie because it's marketed as a faith-based movie, which it is. It is. You know, they definitely mention God. They definitely mention these are God's children, so forth and so on. I'm conflicted on it only because if you label it that way, you're automatically going to have some people that turn away because they're like, oh, you know, this is, God, I don't want to see no God movie or whatever. You know what I mean? however they feel. You know, if you say anything like that, you know, they automatically turn away. Right?
What if they were the only people to support it? You know, they say they've been trying to get it out for 5 years. So what if the faith belief community, or whatever you want to call it, they came along and they were the only ones to support it and put the money behind it to put it out there?
And they could have been. My point about it is, when you do label it that way and you put it kind of in a box,
yeah.
And you kind of put it in the box, now you're kind of taking the opportunity for the people who, if you don't say it and they just say, hey man, this movie's good, go check it out. And then now they're in there, they're sitting down and watching it. And then now you got them, because they're not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like we all said, like once you lock in on this movie, you in there, right? And then now you're getting your message in there. Hey, these are God's children. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not preachy. It's not preachy at all.
No.
They're not beating you over the head with it or nothing. They just let you know at the right moments, hey, these are God's children. You can do anything with God. You know what I'm saying? Just strategically, you know what I mean? Put in the right moments, man. Right when you need to hear it.
I get what you're saying, because like if they wouldn't have promoted it like that, they could have just went in there and seen it and still got the message. I got you.
You understand what I'm saying? Without, oh, it's faith-based? Nah, man, I ain't trying to. You know what I mean? That part for me. Now, I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong. That's why I say I'm conflicted.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm conflicted because at the same time, you know, people with faith, with the religions, the Baptists, you know what I'm saying, the non-denomination, whatever you want to say, they never feel like they have a movie until it's like the Passion of the Christ, or you know what I'm saying, something like that they have a movie, they say, yeah, you know what I'm saying, a faith-based movie is winning, you know what I mean? So I get that too. That's why I say I'm absolutely conflicted about it, you know. But I see that the movie's already at $100 million, and that's amazing, because I still say this movie is more word of mouth than anything. You know, it doesn't have the marketing behind it of a lot of movies, big budgeted movies. But once people see it, you almost feel compelled to tell people, go see this movie. You absolutely have to. You know, if you make $100 million off a $14.5 million budget, I mean, you've made, you've made your money over and over. And I will go ahead and say too that, you know, at the end of the movie, they give you that QR code and you donate a ticket to whoever that needs to see it. Right on there, they have a $2 million goal. They had reached $10 million when I went ahead and gave my little measly $15. You know what I'm saying? They were at 10 million, and I still didn't feel like, oh man, y'all done made enough. Let me get my 15 back, bro. You know, I was like, hey, here, let me contribute some kind of way. Yeah, man, yeah. But anyway, that's just my little thing I need to throw in there, because I was kind of going back and forth with it, wondering like, would it make more money if you didn't market it that way, or as you're saying, SC. They got to that point because the people, the faith community is like, oh no, we support this movie. You know what I'm saying? We coming out to see this. So
it's a possibility, because you know it's a lot of things, and not to dwell and go too deep, because I ain't one for the conspiracy theories and all that, but a lot of stuff going on in Hollywood. So I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, if anybody maybe wanting to prevent this movie from coming out, you know, so we never know. But it is a good movie. It's a message in there, and like you said, if you're not thinking about it, once you see this, it makes it hit close to home.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. CBR.
This movie also reminds me. My bad.
No, go ahead, Bree. Come on with it. What did it remind you of?
I don't know if y'all ever seen a movie called The Impossible. That's a very touching movie also. I don't want to give too much away. I just want, maybe y'all can look it up and see if that's something you'll be interested in, but I'll leave that to y'all imagination. The Impossible, and it is the impossible. It's very interesting and very it's got that feel to it like this. Really? I do want to say with what is going on with the Sounds of Freedom, I think that they want everybody to be active, because I know that they have very low research to help find, missing kids, missing adults. They want people to be active. So if it's something that you're interested in, I think that people should look it up and figure out what you can do to join something that can help find lost people. You know, I'm pretty sure they have organizations like that. So I'm sure they need more people on the team. And I also know that their message for this movie was to get people to care more about the horrors of child sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was a horror.
Yeah.
Tell you that.
Yeah.
It was. So I do hope that people do want to do action, put action behind it, besides just watching the movie and going on about your life, because this is really happening. So why everybody on TikTok, Instagram, and all this stuff, we got freedom over here. Well, we can go missing too. Anybody can, but you know,
ABG.
If you feel it, I think something should be done even more. You know,
right,
so.
right, and you know, and the irony, you know, from what we talked about in BMT News, Carly Russell, right? Like
Carly Russell.
Like you're playing games. This is actually happening to people.
Yeah, real life.
You know what I'm saying? This is actually happening to people, and you're playing games. You know, so that just makes it even more disgusting if, you know, this is what you're doing. And I mean, I think from what we've seen lately, you know, in the news, is that, you know, she's basically admitted that there was no abduction, right? You know, so, you know, now you've basically admitted this, and which we already knew. I mean, like shocker, right? You know what I'm saying? Really? You don't say, huh? But you have people really going through this in real pain. So it just makes what she did, man, just unexcusable. You know what I mean? It really does. When you sit and watch a movie like this, and you're like, no, this is for real. Man. Yeah. Anyway, Ray, I was curious that as you got toward the third act, and I say the third act, which is the little boy, he's returned, but he, you know, he's basically asked the guy, you know, hey man, what about my sister? And you know, the father's like, hey man, you know, could you go and see your child's empty bed or whatever, and be able to sleep, you know, and rest, you know what I'm saying? And all that stuff there. And that's basically what made him just like, man, I got to go and find his kid.
Yeah, I think that what hit him the most, you know. He knew his job wasn't done, you know, so.
Yeah.
Tim Mateo, yeah.
Tim Mateo. Man, that part there, I'm like, golly, boy, they tug at your heartstrings on this one.
Yeah.
Boy, they tug on them.
Hey, they foreshadowed with the little chain and the coin with his name on there.
Yeah. They did, didn't they? Yeah. So I'll tell you too, before I was going to finish actually some CBR, but I got to say, a lot of great actors in this. But man, I'm going to tell you, my favorite actors were these kids, man. That little boy, dog.
Oh, yeah.
Whoo. Boy, he was playing that role, man.
Yeah, man. He really did. He had the expressions, man. He didn't get off of it. You know, you felt it, you know. You felt like it was real.
Yeah. I mean, he you know, even on the little headshot that we see in him now, I mean, he still look like he's abducted. You know what I'm saying? Like, save him, please.
He look happy right there.
Yeah, he look a little happy there. But good grief. Other than that, I mean, man, look at him. Look at him right there. He's good, man. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
And the little girl, you know, man.
Wonderful job.
Wasn't it sad? Like this is when you know, like, and this is what I'm talking about, Bree, where he didn't have to show it. But in the beginning, even before they were abducted, and the girl is in there like, oh, you know, getting them all picture ready, right? She's unbuttoning their top button or something. She putting the lipstick on the little girl. I'm like, oh no, come on, man, please.
Grooming them.
Oh man, that was hard, man. That was so hard to watch, man. Oh,
coming back at your kid's not there, and that's a moment too. That's like you don't know where to look. You don't know what to do.
Right. You don't know the first thing. Right. You don't know the first thing to go. You're just going to do like he did, knock on every door, run down every street.
Go crazy.
God, man.
He fought too late, man.
Yeah. Rough stuff. CBR, but like I said, right at that third act, you know, we're at the part now where he knows where she is. You know what I mean? Like he knows the group of people where she could possibly be. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What did you feel though when he got there and he's, you know, because you know they had to play as doctors and whatever, and then they separated him from the other guy, and which got real scary then, right? You know what I'm saying? You like, bruh, you know, he ain't got a gun on, which he was smart. He was smart. Like, no, don't give me a gun. You know what I'm saying? But he's walking around. Remember, he had to kind of creep around, you know, at night and everything, and try to find whatever. But even before then, I think he was walking around and dude say, well, look, go and check everybody and whatever. And then they got to because they weren't stuffing grapes. Like, what were they doing? Like, because they
Might have been cocaine.
Might have been cocaine. And he came up on her, CBR, you know what I'm saying? And you saw the tattoo, right? You remember the tattoo that he put on? Right?
Scorpion.
It was Scorpion? Okay.
I believe it was the Scorpion, unless I'm getting confused with another movie, but I believe it was a Scorpion.
I think it was like a crown.
Yeah, that was a crown on her.
It was a crown on her, yeah.
Scorpion was the guy. He had the scorpion on him.
Yeah.
So you're right. Okay. Yeah. What did you feel right then, though, dog? Like, because I'm going to tell you, man, it was a real tense moment because, you know, he's trying to get her attention. You know what I'm saying? You know, get her attention, but at the same time, like, you can't talk too loud because you got these dudes here ready to pop off, you know. Like what did that make you feel, dog? Because that was, like I said, for me, it was real tense, man. Like that
was definitely a tense moment, man. You know, you like I said, you find yourself rooting for him to come out of there unscathed and complete his mission, you know. But it was tense, man, because he there by himself and he's surrounded by all these rebels, so it's crazy.
Yeah. So do you think that that girl was like his the Scorpion guy, that was his like main girl or something, right? Is that kind of painted?
I believe so, man, because he would say, "Let me go check on my girl," you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think when he heard her scream, you know, when Tim woke her up, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when he was like, "Let me go check on my girl."
Yeah, man.
Tough, man.
It really was. I mean, even
he was
trying
a big man. That's a small girl.
Yeah, wasn't it, man? And what really hurts is you gotta know by now that she's been through this already. Like, this is not her first time. She's been through it already. You know, she's already lost her innocence. You know what I mean? You just feel bad for her, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, the director kept it so real because she didn't see this guy and all of a sudden say, "Oh, my savior." You know what I'm saying? Even when he saw her in the thing, you know, he woke her up at night and that's why she screamed. She wasn't like, you feel what I'm saying? And I thought that was so real, dog, because she don't know who to trust. You know what I'm saying? Like, she don't know who to trust. Like, all you adults have done nothing but betray my trust or whatever. I don't trust none of y'all. Even you trying to come save me. Nope, don't trust you either. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was just like, wow, man. You could see them changing her. You could see she was changed because in the very beginning, you saw she was happy and singing and she beating on a drum. She just being a kid, man, just enjoying being a kid. And right after that, man, you could see her stripped of that innocence right then, you know, to where she wasn't even going to fight the guy. You know what I mean? She was just like, she already knew what to do, you know, and just to survive, man, just to not be killed, you know. Oh my God, man. I was just like, man, hey, man. So the one part, man, where I was like, I know everybody was like rooting, like, get him. You know, he looks like, you know, you can see him kind of getting ready to take his clothes off or whatever. And then her eyes cut over. And you know old boy standing right behind him. You know what I'm saying? And you just like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Man, get this dude, man. You know, kill him. I think, man, what? And he's and the way that's what I'm saying. I got to give credit. I got to help everybody understand how powerful this director is. The guy told her to close her eyes. Now imagine all of these things she's seen since then. But he still is so much looking at her like a child and trying to save her innocence. I don't even want you to see me punish this guy who's done this to you. Close your eyes. And the way they cut back and forth from, they give you a little bit of the fighting, and then she closed her eyes again. And you don't see it, but you hear it. You know what I mean? I was like, man, this director is a genius, man. He's a genius, man.
Yeah.
He makes you feel right. You don't like that moment. You feel like the little girl. Like you're imagining. Like I'm hearing it, and then you gotta peek a little bit because I just want to see. You know what I'm saying? Like what you're doing to him. You know, make sure you're taking care of him too. You know what I mean? But man, I said that director's a genius, man.
I'm sure she has nightmares and also seeing that fight too. So
yeah,
you know, it's unfortunate that happened.
Yeah. I did want to list my one kind of gripe with this movie when it comes to the director's choices. I would have liked to have seen more or longer scenes with his wife because, and I mean, hey, ride or die, she was a down chick, whatever you want to call it. I mean, she was pretty much with everything he was saying. You know, I mean, he called and basically like, hey, look, I'm gonna have to quit my job because I got to go over here. They're not gonna pay for me to do this and da da da. And she was like, "Hey, honey, do what you got to do." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Yo, she's like super down." But I would have liked to have seen a longer conversation with them. You know, like they kind of went from, "Hey, I gotta go," okay, and then next thing you know, he's on the plane going. I'm like, really? Would it be that easy? You know what I'm saying? Like you leaving how many kids did he have, Ray? 5, 6 kids or something, right?
Yeah, at least 5. You know, we had quite a few on that picture.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? That easy? Boy, I mean, because you got to remember he gave up his pension. The dude told him, like, bro, you are literally months away. Months away from your pension. Bro, do you know how much faith he would have to have in God, man, to know that I'm going to give up my pension to do this because it's almost like he wouldn't have been able to rest until he found that little girl.
Right.
This dude said, what if this was your child? He looked at the picture and seen he had kids, and he said, what if this was your kid? Would you be able to sleep?
Right.
If you got one of them back and the other one still out there.
Right.
So I think from there, it was something already was inside of him, you know, a fire to help.
Right.
But from there, he thought about it, and it was in the back of his head, came to the front of his head, and he was like, man, I got to find her.
Yeah.
And from there, it was like, I got to find some more, you know. So
right.
He couldn't, like you said, it was some passion in him. He couldn't rest until he saved them.
Whew, man. So it looks like he's rescued over, 3,800 people to the date? Boy. Hey, listen, this is what I'm trying to figure out. And y'all tell me. When it first started off, they showed images that was a kind of like grainy video kind of way. And then they showed some more at the end. Do you think that was real footage? The actual footage of kids being abducted?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Yeah, no, I think that was real footage.
Yeah, they have some of the busts and stuff online, some of the stings, where they actually have the people coming in there, meeting, setting up. They had the little girls, and then the police come in. You know, it's like undercover stings.
Right.
Wow. Yeah,
so it's
Chris
possible.
Hansen was doing that show.
Highly possible.
I got to tell y'all, I don't know if y'all know this. Y'all remember the Subway guy?
Oh, yeah.
Jared.
Yeah.
Jared Fogle. You remember him, Bree? You remember the Subway guy? He was a big dude, and he would eat a Subway, and then he lost all that weight and stuff and whatever. He was a spokesman for Subway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
On it used to be HBO Max, but now just Max. There's a documentary on him. I did not know he was a child of, what'd you call it, sex offender?
Yeah, most definitely.
Didn't know it. I watched the whole thing. And there's a moment in there where he gets caught up basically by trying to get a kid from some country. And it makes you wonder if, you know what I mean? Like he was wrapped up in all of that. You know what I'm saying? With what Tim Ballard was actually, doing and finding out and whatever. It made me wonder that, man. I was like, wow, I wonder if this is what he was wrapped up in as well. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, Jeff Fogle.
Highly possible. Because, I don't know all about it, but how many rings you think they got, where it's like...
True.
So I would presume that it's groups out there that certain people know about, they figure it out and they try to do whatever they do.
Yeah, he former spokesman for Subway restaurants. He appeared in Subway's advertising campaigns from 2000 to 2015 until an FBI investigation led to him, convicted of child sex tourism and possessing child pornography. Ah, man, I tell you.
And the food wasn't enough.
I know, right? Yeah, you losing weight and becoming a millionaire and famous and whatever wasn't enough for you, right? Grown women, you know, because and it's not like he's this really handsome guy, but I mean, hey, he's on TV and he got money. You can get somebody. You know what I'm saying? You should have any problem getting somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
And the way he's smiling, he just looks so nice and unassuming, and you know what I mean? Crazy. I know.
Sick. Okay.
Yeah, I know his wife. She disassociated herself from him. You know what I mean? Like I don't condone none of that. I ain't know nothing about all that.
I know that's right. That first plane ticket and get the.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'm gone.
I'm out of here, bro.
But y'all also know Wayfair was doing something like that too, where they were selling furniture. The furniture was the name of the kid's last name.
What?
I think that was it was busted. It wasn't real.
Oh.
But what they had was, sometimes you can look up a product. This is just an example. Walmart might sell it. They don't have it in the store, but a person that sells that has a page where they can sell through Walmart online. So companies would have accounts with Wayfair or whatever, and the price of the object might be $10,000.
Really?
On that site, but the original price might be like $600. So people were wondering like, hey, why is this product so expensive? Why is it marked up this high? And then they would say, oh, if you order this, you're really paying for a child.
Okay. So, but apparently QAnon, I guess, created some lie, however. Yeah. Wow. Again, people using these things to play games. You know what I mean? Like they taking this for a joke when it's an actual real thing. It's crazy. Yeah, man. I don't know how deep this goes. I don't know who these people are that were trying to block the movie. Obviously, some people that, are in power, have plenty of money. But I am glad that this movie was finally brought to the masses. Like I said, it made me feel some kind of way. It was a rough watch, Bree. I'm right along with you, and I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man, and I'm telling you, it was a rough watch. I don't care how hard you think you are, tough you think you are, whatever. Unless you have no feelings, you're gonna feel something watching this movie. Know that. So just prepare yourself. But here's the thing, and I don't want to scare you off. Okay, I don't want to scare anybody off from watching it and say, "Oh man, nah, kids man." Let me just say this: if you get through it, the payoff is absolutely worth every scene you had to watch. The payoff is absolutely worth it, and to know that he went back in, gave 6 more months or however months of his life to save how many kids was it?
3,800 maybe.
But I think you said a number, CBR. What did they say on the movie? It was another 100 and something.
About 160, yeah. Another 160 kids
At that time, yeah. Like I said, the payoff when you get to that and you get to see all the things that he's done, it's totally worth it, man. Totally worth it. Shout out to the young lady that is not on this casting list, but she played the role of Giselle. I just want to shout her out real quick because if you look her up on Google or whatever, she's not going to be on the main casting list. But her name is Jessica Barato Perryman. Beautiful woman.
I seen her on something else also.
Really?
Yeah.
Is she Hispanic or Dominican? I mean, still same, but but. Where's she from, man? Because she looks black, but obviously speaks Spanish very well, and I don't know if that's from heritage or learned. I would imagine from her name, she looks like she's from somewhere. I don't think they have her ethnicity listed anywhere. But let me tell you, she did an amazing job, man. I mean, she did an amazing job, man. I mean, because like I said, beautiful, alluring. And then there's a moment where you absolutely hate her. You know what I'm saying? You like, man, boy. And I got to tell you, man, I was a little surprised of how easily she fell for that sting, though, because they painted it to her. They painted it in a way that made her seem very, very suspicious of them initially. And I guess money I think they even mentioned that too, that, you know, they get real greedy, you know, they get careless. You know what I'm saying? You know. Yeah,
she did. She did a wonderful job. This movie really is like good versus evil, just like what's going on in the world today. Like, seemed like from the very beginning, just good versus evil.
Yeah.
Which side do you want to be on?
Yeah. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Man, well, as it should be, good triumphs. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's just what it is. We won't spoil too much for you guys. You have to sit and watch it for yourself. But just understand that coming out of here, you do feel a sense of relief, but you are absolutely going to still feel something. You're going to feel something for those kids when you think about it and say, well, those kids were actors. These are based on real kids, though. And there are real kids that's still out there going through that. Thank you for pointing it out for us, producer Timmy. Jessica is Cuban. I'm Cuban, B. Anyway, that's for all my...
Okay.
For my half-baked fans out there that know about the half-baked. Cuban, B. But anyway, yeah, man. Hey, good movie. Please go see it. You know, we'll go ahead and do a rating. But regardless of whatever we say, I'm telling you, go and see that movie. I mean, if you trust our opinions and whatnot, if you're here rocking with us, it's imperative that you go see it. And once you go see it, you tell someone else to go see it, and you tell them and all that. You know, let's get this movie out there. Help spread the word about this movie. Yeah, CBR, it's about that time, bro. What you think, man?
I guess I'm about to lead off. You know, this movie, good movie. Everybody should see it. It opens your eyes up to a lot of stuff that's going on, a lot of stuff you might not know what's happening, but it's definitely happening. For how the movie was set up and portrayed, man, I'm gonna have to give this a perfect movie, man. It's knowledge, you know. It's what people need to know, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a 10.
My man.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? Real, like, all right. And look, now everybody, look, he put the pressure. Don't he put the pressure? Now, so like, I dare you say something under the 10, right? Oh my God, that's funny. CVR, my man. Well, Bree, I'm not gonna take that pressure first. So what you got?
Okay. I'm gonna rate the movie as I'm gonna go with a 10. Also, because it was a good movie, and even though it had me on another level, like in my anxiety on 10, I'm still gonna rate it as a 10. You know,
you get a 10 because it had you on
10. Yeah, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10. Good job.
I know we've never had a coveted clap.
Two perfect scores.
Right? You feel me? That's it.
In a row?
What? Oh my God. Who gonna be the first one not to say 10? Peer pressure, my brother. Peer pressure. What you got? like the audience, like you better not say it.
Well,
what you got, SC?
Sorry to disappoint y'all. As good as this movie was, no, we gonna go with a low 4. No, I'm just playing. I'm gonna go with a 9.5, and I'm giving that rating first. And you know, I briefly explained some of the reasons why we were talking about it, and like CBR said, it brings attention to what's really going on out here. Even if you ain't thinking about it and you see this, it's gonna put something in the back of your head and make you start thinking about things a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9.5. This is great acting. even without the message, if they didn't have the message in there, it still would have been a good movie because the way these actors acted, you know, like it was really believable.
For sure.
And one scene now that you said something about it, I'm gonna keep it short and simple. But one scene that you said in the beginning was when the little girl was beating on the windows, screaming and everything, and the light was shining through.
Right.
It made it even bigger when they zoomed out and
Didn't it though?
she was on a boat in the middle of the ocean. And I'm like, oh, it's on now.
It's on now, right? Because you don't even know. Right. You don't know what she's in really at first. Well, now let me take that back. Because you saw them kind of put them into the shipping container, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they hadn't loaded it onto the ship or anything, right? It was in some little warehouse-looking thing or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, SC, they started off kind of cropped into her and the window. You're like, okay, whatever it is, you got a little light coming out. And then they're panning. And then they're coming out. You know what I'm saying? They're zooming out. They're zooming out. And then you're like, whoa. Because you know how a shipping container is. It's long. You know what I'm saying? One way, right? It's like a big rectangle. And you're like, whoa, look at all these kids in here. You know what I'm saying? And it's getting like, yo, because it's still, even though that's a long container, it's still confined.
Mm-hmm.
So if you claustrophobic, you really feeling it, right? Man, and then like you said, bro, they zoom all the way out. And this is one shipping container on a big old ship.
Yep.
Oh, man. 53 feet. A shipping container, 53 feet. And still feels claustrophobic. I totally agree with you, bro. I totally agree. 9.5.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No doubt. I feel that. And I'm actually going to I'm going to share that with you. I cannot give it a 10 only because of the one scene that I'm saying that I really wish they would have given me more of the relationship between him and his wife. Because as heroic as he is and all of this stuff here, which I'm sure a lot of people try to be, not everyone is so accepting of, okay, all right, I understand, but you got kids here too. You know what I'm saying? You got kids here too, and they need their daddy, and such and such. There was a moment in that movie when she texted him or whatever, and she said, "I feel like she's my child too." And I was like, man, wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah. And at the end, as CBR knows, that they wrote it down basically saying that she was very supportive of him. Like he lists her as his inspiration and strength to go and do this. And so I would have liked to have seen more of that in the movie. You know what I mean? Like to see that, to give me that scene. You understand what I'm saying, Bree?
Got you, to show the connection between them. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Because this is a relationship. This is a marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think it's that easy just to leave your kids and your wife and say, "Hey, I'm going over to Colombia." You know what I'm saying? To go rescue kids. Like, yeah, sure. You know what I'm saying? The old going to rescue kids trick, huh? Okay. You know what I'm saying? I would have liked to see more of that relationship. Otherwise, man, I think this director is top tier. I'm actually curious to see what else he does because he's amazing.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, man. His direction is amazing. And I'll go ahead and give
support you.
Yeah, for sure. I'll go ahead and throw this out there. A shout out to the movie The Chosen. My mom told me about this. This comes from the same Angel Studios. And she was like, this is a very good series. You know, it is very gripping and so forth and so on. So I am curious. I know that, I don't know if they showed this on you guys' movie, but on mine, they had a preview of a movie that has Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro in it. And I guess it's about something with Native Americans, whatever. From the same studio. I'm going to watch that movie because of this movie.
I feel it.
You know what I mean?
I feel it.
And that's how you get more fans, and you know what I'm saying, and whatever. When you have a movie like this that makes you feel something, yeah, I want to see what else you got. I want to see what else you got now, you know. So good job, man, to the director. Great job to Angel Studios for allowing them to make this picture. The writer of the movie, the everyone involved, especially the real people who actually do this every day so they can have a story like this to share. Hats off to y'all, man, because I just can't imagine the joy that you've brought back into a family's life after their kid has been missing and you don't know where they are. And then all of a sudden you get a call to say, we found your child. You know what I mean? I just can't even imagine the feeling. So anyway, yeah, man, 9.5 for me, only because of that reason, and that's just from a reviewer's stance. Otherwise, the movie's absolutely perfect, man. So great job on that, and we appreciate y'all definitely tuning in to us to listen to this, and we hope that you walk away that if you were a little on the fence, that we were able to push you to the other side of that fence, and you go see that movie. And if you feel up to it and you have the extra money, go ahead and buy a ticket. Donate it. These tickets are actually being used. They're actually being used. So,
it's going to a good place. Positive.
For sure.
Positive movement. One more thing before we leave, I do want to say this movie really shows the act of God.
Yeah.
God's children are not for sale.
Yep.
Y'all need to remember that.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's everybody.
Absolutely. You're playing a dangerous game, man, when you corrupt or rob the innocence of God's children. You're playing a very dangerous game. Mm-hmm. Whatever that money is that you're getting, whatever you're getting, I guarantee you it ain't worth your soul. You know what I'm saying? It ain't worth your soul. Mm-hmm. So the message, I agree, Bree, the message was very powerful. It was there. And again, I will reiterate, but they don't beat you over the head with it. That's what I like about it. They don't beat you over the head with it, though. They give you a good movie. This movie can stand right there against Man on Fire with Denzel.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you never would have told me it was a faith-based movie, and I never would have knew.
Right. Yep. Oh, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm definitely going to watch it again. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a while. It'll be a while, though, because I need a little time to process and come down off of that, man. Good grief. Woo.
Get you a comedy or something, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Good grief. Let me laugh a little bit. I might even watch Bruce Almighty or something. Yeah. I'll keep it faith-based. That's a faith-based movie, too. But I got to laugh a little bit, man, because this rough. It's rough. Oh, God, it's rough. All right, guys. Hey, listen, we got a 9.75 average. What else do you need? What else do you need to go convince you to watch a movie? Unless you just don't care about any of our opinions, you know what I'm saying? I mean, But if you do, you got a 9.75 average of a movie. Go watch this movie. See how it feels to watch a movie like you did back in the day and come out of there feeling some kind of way. You know what I mean? And definitely check out Killers of the Flower Moon. That's the movie that I'm talking about with Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. Killers of the Flower Moon. All right, man. Hey, listen, man. This has been another movie review by the Hangout Experience. And that movie was Sound of Freedom. Go check it out, y'all. It's very moving, very gripping, emotionally. Someone asked me too, 2 words. What do you think? And I said, emotionally gripping. Emotionally gripping. That's it for me. The best thing I can tell you. One of the best movies of this year. Absolutely my top 5. I might even give it top 3. I gotta say,
top 3?
Yeah, me and Bree talked about this yesterday briefly. Avatar: Way of Water, man, is an amazing movie. Avatar: The Way of Water is an amazing movie, man. It is. It's an amazing movie. Visually captivating, everything.
Yeah, that's my favorite movie for the year so far.
Right. Mm-hmm. But this movie here, even without all the visual wizardry and everything like that, it's in my top 3, man. It's in my top 3. I'm sorry.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't need a bunch of flash and all that to wow me and make me feel some kind of way. Sometimes I just want to get connected with a character, and I want to feel like I know that character. You know what I mean? I'm in there with the character. I want the character to win, or I want that character to lose, or whatever. I want to feel something, and that movie did this for me. It's been a while. So anyway, man, thank y'all. I appreciate it, man. I don't know if you guys got any last words that you'd like to drop on the audience. Bree, I know you've left them with some gems already. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. But if not, I'll just say, man, go see the movie. And when y'all do go see this movie, please come back to this episode right here and drop something in the comments. Just tell us how you felt about it. And let's I'll tell you what. We'll go further than this. Because if you want to talk about it, tell us how you really feel. If you have an experience, if you know of anyone with an experience of like this, let us know. Let's start a conversation. We can talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It's us. You know, we're family here. The Hangout experience is supposed to make you feel like you're right here with us. You're sitting right here on this couch with us. You're just hanging out. We can talk about anything. That's what real friends do. And please believe when you come here, you are our friends. So drop it off in the comments, man. Sound off here, IG, Spotify, whatever you can leave comments. Let us know, man. And you
I want to know how y'all feel about this movie.
Absolutely. And if you really want to get real conversation, if you feel like it, hit us up on the Hangout Media at Gmail, and we can really talk. You know, sometimes you might feel like you need somebody to just connect with and have a real conversation with. The Hangout Media at Gmail. That's THAHANGOUTMEDIA at gmail.com. And let's really talk, because that's what we're here for. We do love y'all. Stay close, man. Stay close to your kids. Watch them. Be mindful. That's what this movie will make you do.